let's see if we can get anything out of the unloading order. Last year when I came to this and had been sitting around for a while, I turned the unloading auger on and there was rats in there everywhere. So let's see if we can find anything in there this year. I'm just gonna point you guys at the mirror and you're gonna have to see if anything comes out. Well, nothing this year, so that's good. I don't like seeing rats in my machine, so that's excellent. I'm back on deck after my week off, guys, and let's have a look and see if we can't find any dead rodents under this machine after that fire up. Nothing but a couple of handful of peas come out that auger that time. And nothing out of our grain elevators, which is great, although the cover's off this one, so there definitely won't be any rodents in there, and that's why I left it off after harvest last year, so that's good. I don't like finding rodents in there, like I said. So why did I reverse the 9770 out? Oh, I didn't reverse it out of the shed, but I reversed it up. But what am I actually doing here? And that's a wonderful question. So I just got a bit of a change of pace, a bit of a change of gears going on here at the moment. I had a phone call from the insurance assessor on Friday last week, I think, while I was on my week off. Basically saying this thing's pretty well been approved. It's just been, he was writing it up and he was just waiting for the green light so that this thing can get parts ordered. It can go over to Crouch's and basically get the unload auger replaced on it after we had that collision last harvest. So what I've got to do, this thing's basically 80% done, like the pre-season's basically 80% done on it. I've just got a little bit of work to do on the draper, which I'm not worried about. That's not the concern, it's more this. I've got the cleaning fan to rebuild on here. A couple of the blades are starting to crack out, but I want to get that done now because I want this thing to be ready so that when we get the phone call and it can go over to Crouch's, it can go over there and it can basically stay there without any stress on us or them until it is done. Because although they might say the repair will take a week, I can guarantee you these things never ever work out like that. And just the way and the workload they've had over the last year, I can just envision this blowing out to all proportions. So yeah, I want to get this done. We're going to get that fan rebuilt, make sure this thing's ready to go, and then it's all good to go for the auger repair. So what I was doing was, I wanted to give this machine a good run because it hasn't been run for a long time, but yeah, I just wanted to slow this fan belt down all the way to the minimum speed so that I could actually get the belt off there, which it came off fairly easily. I was not expecting that, so that's good. But yeah, this should be a bit of a learning curve for me because I have not done this job before, and I've got some instructions there to do it, and we're going to just rip into it and hopefully get it done. I did read in the instructions that you may need to pull the tyre off to get this shaft all the way out, so I'm hoping that I don't have to do that. We'll see how we go. We've got these big spacers on here which space the wheel out a lot further than what they are sort of from factory, so hopefully it'll slip out of there. They sort of say to leave these sheaves and everything on here and then pull the shaft out this way, so yeah, we're gonna find out. So honestly guys, at this point I don't even know how much we're going to need this machine this year because it has been very, very dried up this way over the last month and a half. Maybe only, I don't even think we would have had 25 millimeters of rain over the last sort of 5 or 6 weeks, so that's pretty bad. That is nowhere in the realms of anywhere near average rainfall, so she's going to be a tough job once we come to spring. We're really going to need some timely rain, otherwise it's just going to be an absolute disaster this year, which it's been forecast well ahead of time, so we'll wait and see. So I did come down yesterday. I had a few belts and stuff to put back on here, some new belts that we ordered a while ago, and yeah, I think we were waiting on 1 or 2 to come in, and they've just been sitting there, so I sort of got that done, and like I said, it just leaves me with this job here now on the fan. They're a bit tight, aren't they? See why I reversed this machine up a little bit, because the light is already terrible in here. And it's not even that late in the day yet. When it gets in the afternoon and the sun's away over to the west, it gets even worse. There we go. Nothing but the finest for me. Now apparently this sucker weighs about 30 kilos, so hopefully I can handle this on my back under here alright. Of course I'm going to need this extension. Okay, wowee. There always has to be something to fight you. Always has to be something. I've asked nicely, and frankly, I'm sick of asking nicely now. You honestly wouldn't think that this little bearing would be that hard to get off, but oh yeah. I just thought if I can get the ball bearings out, I can get the outer race off. If I can get the outer race off, I can get the shaft through, and then I can deal with it afterwards. Get out of there, you dirty dog. Rightio. I wasn't supposed to take that off, but it ended up needing to come off. I've just realised that those instructions are kind of stupid because I want to replace that bearing there, and the instructions out of the manual tell you to pull this all out as one, which makes it virtually impossible to do that bearing unless you pull this sheave off here. So I might as well just pull that off, and then maybe I might be able to just work this down in and underneath rather than trying to pull it all out this way. I don't know, it's just a thought, because that shaft is proving to be quite the pain in the bum to move. Oy, there we go. That gave me a bit of a fright. Shouldn't have though. I was expecting it. I was hoping this job wasn't going to be too bad, but it's shaping up to be quite the pain in the neck. Not gonna lie. Alrighty folks, let's do a little bit of an update here. So actually I don't even know if I said yesterday why I'm doing this cleaning fan, but that's why. They're starting to wear through, crack out there on the blades, so she needs a full new set of blades. Now over here I got these handy dandy instructions. They come straight out of the John Deere repair manual. Anyway, they say in there that to do this job you're supposed to remove the entire fan from the machine. So I got these bearings off yesterday, and do you think I could get those bearings off? Oh no, absolutely not. I had to cut those suckers off there like that, both of them. So that's standard though, you got to expect that. But anyway, let's jump under here. I jumped under here yesterday and I thought, why on earth do I need to remove the entire fan? There's no reason to. These blades just clip on and off from the bottom here, so I don't need to pull the entire fan out. That's the most ridiculous thing that it says to do that, but it doesn't matter anyway because I've got brand new bearings here for this anyway. I wanted to do them anyway. You know, when you're doing a job like this and you're gonna pull this stuff apart, I'd rather just put new bearings on it, make sure it's fresh. It's just good to do a few bearings every year anyway on a machine like this, just so you know they're new and they're fresh and they're good to go for another period of time. But so I've got this to a point now. I've got the bearings off, we're cleaned up. I can just get underneath here now and change over all these blades, and that'll be a bit of a sweet deal. But there is a few extra parts I need here which I don't have, like these pressed flanges that go around this bearing on this side. I didn't get those. I wish I did, but after having to get in here with the oxy, yeah, I'd rather just replace those now because I've been put through the ringer there a little bit, but I thought I'd pull apart this driven side for the drive side for the fan, and we're just starting to get a bit of a rumble in this bearing here, so I thought while it's all apart, I wanted to put a new belt on here for the fan anyway, and we'll just go right through it, make sure it's all nice and fresh. But yeah, this bearing in here, just starting to get a little bit of a rumble in it now. So yeah, that's what we're going to do here, guys. I'm going to just get those blades swapped over, and we'll just box this thing up. We'll drive it back up to the front of the shed there, get my parts ordered, and we'll finish this off next week. So yeah, it should be pretty easy to smash back together from here though, which would be nice. Also, we got a whopping 2 millimeters of rain last night. Go us! So this is the last blade I'll put in for now. I'll leave a couple out just because there's a couple of clamps up here. I'm going to get some new bolts for those bad boys as well. And make sure they're alright, make sure everything's lined up, and yeah, then I'll slide the last two in later. Once I get the other bearings and stuff on, if I can spit my words out. When you put these bad boys in, you want to make sure you really push them up. And they're quite hard to clip into place, but if you don't push them right up, they won't slide over those clips very well. There we go. So these blades, these are not cheap, hey. I reckon the genuine ones through Deere were like, I don't know, 200 bucks or 200 and something bucks. And I mean, when you look at it, it's just a thin piece of alloy, like there's nothing to it whatsoever that's had some holes stamped in it. Absolute rip-off. So what I did, if you can get onto the John Deere website, you can go in and you can look up your own parts. You go to parts search, put in your machine. You can actually scroll through all the diagrams and look at each individual part. You can get part numbers, pricing, all this sort of stuff. And sometimes it says on there alternative part numbers, and with these fan blades, same with a lot of the belts and stuff like that, you can look up alternative numbers, and they're not actually genuine John Deere parts, I don't think, some of them, the alternative parts, but they're John Deere endorsed aftermarket parts. So for instance, there was a belt that I got for this. It was, I think the belt was meant to be like $700 or $800. I got it for like 400 bucks, but I had to wait for it to come from the US. And it's the same with these fan blades. I reckon they wanted about $200 or a little bit more dollars for these, and I think there's, I can't even remember now, I think there's like 10 or 11 of these blades, so that's pretty expensive. But I looked at the alternative part numbers, and I got those for like half the price. So, but I just had to wait for a long time for them to come, but I didn't care because the machine's just sitting in the shed anyway, so there you go. Hey, Kristen, Henry Coleman, how are you? Nah, not too bad, thanks. Hey, I've got some part numbers here I got written down, wondering if you could punch those in and order them in for me. Well, we're about as far as we can get with that at the moment, and I thought I might show you guys this over here. I've got a bit of a dilemma on my hands. We're standing back out in my mad trial, the canola, and I think we've got a pretty serious nitrogen deficiency in this crop at the moment. It's starting to drop leaves. You can see them going all yellow and horrible looking down the bottom here. So I've just called the agronomist, and I'm going to get him to come out and have a look and just see. Just starting to, I don't know if you can see that, just starting to throw up the first flowers. So you can see them there, starting to run up, starting to bolt. Anyway guys, I got to finish spraying broadleafs out of the barley this afternoon, so I'm going to go do that. I guess I might just take you guys on and do a bit of a time lapse, but it's just more spraying. You guys get the picture. Who's sick of seeing this thing? I am. Well, I have run back, I've filled up again, and I am on the last paddock of barley that needs broadleaf sprayed out of it. So there is only one paddock remaining at home, a paddock of wheat that has not had a broadleaf chemical put down on it, and that is the paddock that's straight ahead of me here. But the way things are going, I tell you, we might not bother putting a broadleaf chemical on there, we might just put the sheep in there. Oh dear, no, I mean things are still looking alright at the moment, but I tell you what, there's no rainfall on the forecast, and it has, I don't think we've even had 25 millimeters since the end of June, so not looking great. And this barley's starting to look pretty bloody ordinary too. This is it's going real limey. This is the stuff we spread urea on last week, hoping for a bit of rain. Gave it another 50 kilos, and we got 1.5 millimeters of rain, so I guess that's kind of like burning $100 bills, is it? Hopefully it got washed in and it's sitting there and it's just waiting for a bit more moisture to get pushed down. But yeah, I don't know, I have my doubts. But anyway, we're going to finish in here, and look, honestly, I've had enough of this sprayer for now. I'm sure you guys have too, so I'm looking forward to getting out of it. We've still got to do Belaley North, but once again, if it stays dry, probably just be a big pack of sheep go on that stuff out there. Well, I think we'll scoot home, throw a bit of diesel in this pig, and then call it a day. Rightio folks, that's all I've got for you. I'm going to call it a day. As always, thank you very much for watching. We really do appreciate it. We'd love to see you next time. Have a good one.